In the vast expanse of the Galactic Mapping Center, Dr. Hyun Park stood motionless, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that seemed to mock her decades of scientific expertise. The screen before her was a puzzle, a blank canvas where human territory should have existed, but instead remained an impossible void of nothingness. For generations, the Galactic Cartography Council had prided itself on its ability to map every known corner of the universe. Alien civilizations had spent centuries developing technology that could penetrate the deepest reaches of space, scanning star systems with unprecedented precision. Yet, here was a region that completely defied all scientific understanding. Human. Space J. Kim, her longtime research partner, approached the display with a mixture of frustration and curiosity. His fingers hovered over the holographic interface, attempting to input various scanning algorithms. Each attempt resulted in the same outcome: total failure. No matter what advanced technology they used, human space remained a complete mystery. "This doesn't make any sense," Jay muttered, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. Scanners that could detect microscopic variations in distant star systems simply went blank when directed toward human-controlled territories. It was as if someone had painted a massive black hole over the region of space humans claimed as their own. The research team had tried everything: quantum probes that could map subatomic particles, multi-dimensional scanners that could peer through different spatial realities, and even experimental technologies that pushed the boundaries of known physics. All failed spectacularly. Each attempt resulted in nothing more than a blank screen and a growing sense of frustration. Dr. Park reviewed the accumulated data from the past decade. Hundreds of attempts, thousands of sophisticated scanning missions, and not a single piece of meaningful information had been retrieved. The human territory appeared to be protected by something beyond current technological understanding. Rumors had been circulating among various alien civilizations. Some suggested that humans had developed some form of advanced cloaking technology. Others whispered about quantum manipulation techniques that could literally erase observational data. But these were just speculations, nothing more than desperate attempts to explain the unexplainable. What made the situation even more intriguing was the behavior of human representatives. During rare diplomatic meetings, they would offer nothing more than cryptic smiles, as if they knew something profound that no other civilization could comprehend. Their diplomats were masters of deflection, never giving away any substantial information about their territorial boundaries. The research center buzzed with tension. Senior scientists debated theories, junior researchers ran endless simulations, and administrators grew increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress. How could an entire species manage to keep their space completely unmapped and undetected? Dr. Park's team had developed increasingly complex scanning methods. They combined technologies from different alien civilizations, hoping that a collaborative approach might crack the mysterious human space barrier. Each attempt failed more spectacularly than the last. What made the situation even more bizarre was the complete lack of hostile intent. Humans weren't preventing mapping through aggressive means. They simply existed in a state of spatial ambiguity that defied all known scientific principles. It was as if their very existence challenged the fundamental understanding of space and observation. As the day progressed, Dr. Park continued her meticulous research. She knew that somewhere within this mystery lay a breakthrough that could revolutionize understanding of spatial dynamics. Her determination was unwavering, her curiosity burning brighter with each failed attempt. The holographic display continued to show nothing, a blank canvas that represented the greatest scientific mystery of their time. Human space remained untouched, unmapped, and completely incomprehensible. Little did they know that the truth was far more complex and terrifying than anyone could imagine. The reason why human space refused to be mapped was about to become the most significant discovery in galactic history. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? In the dark corners of galactic communication networks, whispers began to spread about the mysterious human territory. These weren't ordinary rumors, but fragments of information that seemed to dance between reality and myth. Commander Sung Lee listened carefully to the intercepted communications. Her office, located in a secure research station, was filled with multiple communication screens displaying decoded transmissions from different alien civilizations. Each message carried a hint of fear, confusion, and growing curiosity about human space. The Centauri traders spoke in hushed tones about strange encounters near human boundaries. Ships that ventured too close would experience bizarre technological failures. Navigation systems would suddenly go dark, communication arrays would scramble incomprehensible signals, and sensors would detect nothing but empty space. Nexian explorers shared stories of probe missions that returned with corrupted data. Their most advanced scanning equipment would simply stop functioning when approaching human territorial lines. It was as if some invisible barrier absorbed all technological attempts to understand or penetrate their space. Diplomatic channels were equally perplexing. When human representatives engaged in rare conversations, they would smile, a gesture that seemed both knowing and mysteriously cryptic. They never directly answered questions about their territory. Instead, they would redirect conversations with such subtle skill that other species would realize they had learned nothing only after the discussion ended. Scientific communities across multiple planets began forming research groups dedicated to understanding the human anomaly. Universities hosted conferences where theories ranged from advanced cloaking technologies to potential quantum manipulation techniques. Some researchers suggested humans had discovered a method of spatial camouflage that went beyond current technological understanding. The most intriguing aspect was the complete lack of aggression. Humans weren't preventing mapping through military force or hostile actions. They simply existed in a state of spatial ambiguity that challenged every known scientific principle. Alien intelligence agencies started collecting every possible piece of information. Small fragments, seemingly insignificant details, were carefully archived. A communication log here, a sensor reading there. Each piece was examined with microscopic precision. Commander Lee understood something that most didn't. The mystery wasn't about what humans were hiding, but why they needed to hide it. Her years of intelligence work had taught her that such comprehensive secrecy usually meant protecting something far more significant than territory. Rumors began to circulate about potential threats. Some suggested humans were defending the galaxy from something so terrifying that complete spatial isolation was the only solution. Others believed they had discovered a technological breakthrough so revolutionary that revealing it could destabilize existing galactic power structures. Trading ships that occasionally interacted with human vessels reported strange experiences. Crews would describe moments of temporal dissonance, feelings that time itself behaved differently near human space. Navigation officers spoke of star charts that would momentarily blur, showing glimpses of something vast and incomprehensible. Before returning to normal, the scientific community was divided. Skeptics dismissed these stories as exaggerations, while more open-minded researchers saw them as potential evidence of something extraordinary. Debates raged in academic journals, with each new theory more fantastic than the last. What made the AIB situation more intriguing was the humans' apparent calm. They continued their interstellar activities, engaged in trade, participated in diplomatic discussions, all while maintaining an impenetrable barrier around their territorial space. Commander Lee compiled her latest report. Between carefully worded paragraphs, she inserted her personal observation. Something significant was happening. The galaxy was standing on the edge of a discovery that could fundamentally change everything they understood about space, technology, and existence. As communication screens continued to flicker with intercepted messages, the whispers grew. Each transmission, each decoded fragment seemed to suggest that the truth about human space was far more complex and potentially more terrifying than anyone could imagine. The galaxy was listening, watching, and waiting. And somewhere, within the unmapped regions of human space, something waited silently, guarding a secret that could change everything. Would you like me to proceed with the next part of the story? The Galactic Council's emergency session was tense. Representatives from 3 advanced civilizations sat around a circular holographic table, their decision clear. They would launch a joint reconnaissance mission to penetrate human space. Captain Wu Jin of the interstellar research vessel prepared his team with meticulous care. Their ship represented the most advanced technological achievement of their civilization, equipped with quantum scanners, dimensional probes, and adaptive camouflage systems that could theoretically penetrate any known spatial barrier. The mission comprised 3 specialized scout ships, each from a different alien civilization. The Centaurian stealth vessel carried revolutionary adaptive cloaking technology. The Nexian quantum mapper contained sensors that could theoretically detect microscopic variations in spatial structures. The Syrian dimensional probe promised to map realities beyond traditional 3-dimensional understanding. Their target was simple, yet impossible: enter human space and gather definitive information about its nature and boundaries. Preliminary calculations suggested multiple entry points. The ships would approach from different angles using synchronized scanning techniques that would minimize potential detection. Each vessel carried advanced data recording equipment designed to transmit information even if primary communication systems failed. Captain Wu Jin reviewed the mission parameters one final time. His team consisted of the most experienced researchers and pilots. They understood the risks. No previous mission had successfully entered or returned from human-controlled space. The launch sequence began with mathematical precision. Each ship activated its unique scanning and penetration technologies. Quantum entanglement communication. Systems linked their data streams, ensuring real-time information sharing. As they approached the invisible boundary of human space, something strange began to happen. The ship's sensors started experiencing inexplicable distortions. Navigation systems flickered. Quantum scanners produced readings that defied conventional scientific understanding. The first ship, the Centaurian stealth vessel, crossed the boundary. For precisely 2.7 seconds, its systems recorded something extraordinary. Fragments of data suggested massive energy patterns, spatial geometries that didn't conform to known physical laws, and glimpses of structures that seemed to exist simultaneously, in multiple dimensions. Then, complete silence. The Nexian quantum mapper followed. Its advanced sensors began collecting data at rates never before witnessed. Complex algorithmic patterns emerged, suggesting a technological infrastructure so advanced it seemed almost organic in its complexity. Suddenly, the ship's entire system went dark. The Syrian dimensional probe was the last to attempt entry. Its multidimensional scanning capabilities were meant to pierce through any potential spatial camouflage. As it approached the boundary, the probe began transmitting data that seemed to challenge the very foundations of spatial perception. Then, like its predecessors, it vanished. Back at the monitoring station, researchers watched in stunned silence. 3 advanced scout ships representing the pinnacle of technological achievement from different civilizations had simply disappeared. No wreckage, no energy signatures, no quantum echoes. Complete and absolute erasure. The communication channels remained silent. No distress signals. No final transmissions. Nothing. Captain Wu Jin's final log entry, transmitted milliseconds before the complete communication blackout, contained only a cryptic message. We are not alone, and what we've discovered is beyond comprehension. Galactic. Scientific communities were thrown into chaos. Emergency meetings were called. Diplomatic channels buzzed with unprecedented tension. The reconnaissance mission had failed, but it had also revealed something profound. Human space was protecting something that did not want to be discovered. The mission had answered no questions. Instead, it had created 1,000 more, each more terrifying than the last. What technology could make entire spacecraft simply vanish? What civilization could protect its boundaries with such absolute precision? And more importantly, what were they hiding? Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The moment the 3 scout ships disappeared, a collective shockwave rippled through every known galactic civilization. What had begun as a scientific mission had transformed into the most profound, mysterious event in recorded interstellar history. Initial reports came in fragments. Communication networks buzzed with confused transmissions. The three advanced vessels, representing the technological pinnacle of their respective civilizations, had simply ceased to exist. No debris, no energy signatures, no quantum remnants. Dr. Hyun Park analyzed the last transmitted data points. Her complex algorithms ran endless simulations, trying to reconstruct the final moments before the vanishing. Each attempt revealed nothing except increasing confusion. The ships hadn't been destroyed. They hadn't been damaged. They had been completely erased from existence. Galactic research centers went into maximum alert. Emergency protocols were activated across multiple planetary systems. Something fundamental had changed in their understanding of space, technology, and potential threats. Quantum physicists worked around the clock. They examined every microscopic detail of the transmission logs. Strange patterns emerged, spatial geometries that didn't conform to known scientific principles. The data suggested something beyond traditional understanding of physics. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from different species sat in tense silence, their holographic projections displaying growing anxiety. Each civilization had invested significant resources into the reconnaissance mission. Each now faced the reality of a complete technological failure. Intercepted communication suggested growing panic. Some alien species began preparing defensive measures, uncertain whether the disappearance represented a potential threat. Military research stations increased their scanning capabilities, hoping to detect any unusual spatial anomalies. Survivors of the mission's support teams reported increasingly bizarre experiences. Communication specialists described hearing fragmented transmissions that seemed to exist between reality and something else. Technical engineers spoke of sensor readings that defied logical interpretation. Commander Sung Lee reviewed the classified reports. Her extensive intelligence background told her something significant was being hidden. The vanishing wasn't just a technological failure, it was a deliberate act of spatial manipulation. Rumors began to spread. Some suggested humans had discovered a method of complete spatial deletion. Others whispered about potential interdimensional technologies that could remove entire objects from existence. Each theory seemed more fantastic than the last. The scientific community was divided. Skeptics demanded empirical evidence. More adventurous researchers proposed radical theories about spatial boundaries and technological capabilities beyond current understanding. What made the situation more unsettling was the complete lack of response from human diplomatic channels. When contacted, human representatives offered nothing more than calm, calculated responses that revealed absolutely nothing. Days turned into weeks. The investigation continued, but each new piece of evidence only deepened the mystery. The three scout ships had become a symbol of something larger, a reminder that humanity possessed capabilities far beyond what other civilizations could comprehend. Intercepted communications revealed growing fear. Some alien species began discussing potential defensive strategies. Others proposed diplomatic interventions, but each approach seemed futile against a technology that could make entire spacecraft simply vanish. Dr. Park's final report contained more questions than answers. The disappearance represented a fundamental challenge to everything they understood about space, technology, and interstellar exploration. The vanishing had changed everything. The galaxy now understood one crucial fact. Humans were protecting something so significant that complete spatial isolation was their chosen method of defense. And whatever that something was, it remained hidden, waiting silently beyond the boundaries of known space. The mystery of the three scout ships became a turning point in galactic history, a moment that would be remembered as the time when humanity revealed, without saying a word, that they were something entirely different. Something unexpected, something terrifying. Would you like me to continue with the final part of the story? The truth emerged not with a dramatic announcement, but through a series of fragmented discoveries that slowly pieced together a narrative more complex than anyone could have imagined. Dr. Hyun Park's research team discovered the first significant clue buried deep within quantum data fragments. What they found suggested that humans weren't protecting themselves. They were protecting everyone else. Hidden within the spatial boundaries of human-controlled territory was something ancient. Not a weapon, not a technology, but a cosmic threat, so massive that its mere existence could unravel the fabric of universal reality. Intercepted communication suggested this threat was older than any known civilization. It existed in a state between dimensions, a primordial entity that could consume entire star systems with a mere thought. Humanity had discovered its existence decades ago during an early deep space exploration mission. The first human explorers who encountered this entity understood immediately that conventional warfare or communication was impossible. This was a being that existed beyond physical comprehension, a cosmic predator that fed on the fundamental energies of reality itself. Humanity's response was both brilliant and terrifying. Instead of attempting to fight or communicate, they did something unexpected. They created a massive spatial barrier, a technological and quantum shield that would contain the threat, preventing it from ever reaching other civilizations. Barrier wasn't just a simple defensive structure. It was a complex system of quantum manipulation, spatial redirection, and energy absorption. Anything that attempted to penetrate or observe would be systematically removed from existence. Commander Sung Lee's intelligence reports revealed the horrifying details. The entity could consume entire civilizations, not through physical destruction, but by literally erasing their existential energy. Planets, star systems, entire species all could be eliminated in moments. Humanity became the silent guardians of the galaxy. They never sought recognition. They never demanded gratitude. They simply maintained the barrier, watching and protecting. The 3 scout ships that disappeared were not victims of a technological accident. They were deliberate sacrifices, data collection points that allowed humans to monitor the barrier's integrity without revealing its true nature. Scientific teams across different civilizations slowly began to understand. The blank spaces in star charts, the mysterious human communications, the cryptic diplomatic interactions, all were part of an elaborate protection mechanism. What made the revelation more profound was humanity's complete commitment. Entire generations of humans had dedicated their existence to maintaining this cosmic barrier. They had transformed their entire technological infrastructure into a living, breathing defensive system. The barrier wasn't static. It was dynamic, constantly adapting, shifting quantum states to ensure the entity remained contained. Massive research stations worked continuously, monitoring microscopic changes that could potentially compromise the containment. Alien civilizations that eventually learned the truth were left speechless. Humanity had been silently protecting everyone, asking for nothing in return. Their technological achievements, their spatial mysteries, all were focused on this single critical mission. Dr. Park's final report contained a simple statement that would change galactic understanding forever. Humanity is not just a species. They are the guardians of existence itself. The cosmic entity remained trapped, unable to break through the sophisticated barrier. Millions of quantum threads, sophisticated energy redirections, and complex spatial manipulations ensured its complete isolation. Humanity had done what no other civilization could. They had identified a threat beyond comprehension and successfully contained it. Not through violence, not through aggression, but through the most sophisticated technological and scientific achievement in galactic history. The galaxy would never fully know the complete truth. Humans preferred it that way. They continued their silent watch, protecting civilizations that would never understand the magnitude of their sacrifice. A single species, standing between existence and total annihilation. Watching, waiting, protecting. Would you like me to elaborate on any aspect of this final part of the story?